Hello and welcome to Tronic. In this video, I will show you how to create an automation script to attack another player in the browser game called Kingdoms. Create a new Python file and define a method called attack. Also at the bottom of the script, include the if statement to make sure that the interpreter executes this method. At the top of the script, import everything from the login file we did create in the previous video. Import the package random, and in your terminal, install a new package by running pip install inquire. I already did this step, so I'm not going to hit enter. Once you installed it, back in your editor, import it by saying import inquire. Save the file. Inside the attack method, call the login method and call the method sleep to delay the execution of the script for 2 seconds. Save the file and execute it inside the terminal. One thing that might block us from interacting with the elements on this page is this cookie bar. Find a reference to one of the buttons. In this case, I'm going to find a reference to the green accept all cookies button. Right click on it and copy the X path. Inside the code editor, write a try block. Instruct the driver to find the element and click on it. In case the driver cannot find this element, we can print a message, cookie bar not found. Next, back to a browser, I will manually click on the accept all cookies. I have to find a reference to the continue playing button, right click on this element and copy the XPath. Back to the editor, instruct the browser to click on this element. Save the file. Once we click and we are inside the game, we have to determine the steps we need to take in order to attack another player. First, I have to go to the map, where I would choose which village I want to attack. I have chosen this one. Once you have chosen which village, you have to select the action Send Troops, which will open up a model in which you can select the attack type as well as the amount of units you wish to send. To make things easier, I will just copy this URL, which already contains the unique coordinates of the attack of the village I'm about to attack. As you can see, for example, in this one, this village is located on the -7 x-axis and y-axis 18. Back to the editor, I will define a variable called attack URLs. This will be a dictionary with a key value pair where the key will be the village name, in this case this one, and the value will be the URL. Back in the attack method, I will call the function sleep and provide an argument of 1 second to it. Save the file. Let's use now the package inquire that we installed earlier. I want to create an interactive CLI experience where the terminal will ask questions and provide choices from which I can pick from. The first question that needs to be answered is, what village do I want to attack? I will then call the inquire. I will provide a list name, which can be village, a message that will be displayed inside the terminal, select a village, and choices. For now I have only one choice, which I specified over here. Now let's get the answer to this question. Inquire prompt, and then I will pass the question village as an argument. Next question that needs an answer is what type of attack do I want to take? If we take a look at the browser, there are different types of attacks. For now, I will allow only two, normal attack and raid. So back in our code editor, I have to create a question for that. Question attack type. And I will call the inquire, provide a list, call this list attack type, then specify a message that will be displayed, select a attack type, and choices. For now there will be two choices. One is attack, which is a normal attack, and raid. Let's get now the answer to this question. Inquire prompt, and then the question attack type. I will allow the possibility to specify the number of units I wish to send along with the attack. If I take a look at the browser, for now I will just allow the spares and these sources over here. So inside the code editor, I will say number of spares and call the input method and display a message, how many spares. I will copy this line and paste it below for the horses. I will create now a variable called attack URL, which will hold the URL of the village I would like to attack. From attack URLs, I will find the answer to the village and specify the list name, which is village. Now with that being set up, I will call a recursive method. I'm going to call it recursive attack, and I will pass down the arguments to it, the driver, the answer attack type, the number of spares, number of horses, and the attack URL. Copy this line and define this method below. Here, the first thing I would instruct the browser to do is to go to the specific attack URL, driver get attack URL. I would then call the sleep method to delay the execution of the script for let's say 2 seconds. Below I will write two if statements to determine the choice that has been selected as the attack type. If answer attack type and then the attack type, which is the list name, is equal to attack, which is the normal attack, I would instruct the browser to behave differently than if the answer attack type is equal to raid. Let's open the browser and take a look how we can find a reference to the specific buttons. Back in the browser, let's inspect these attack types. For now, I said I will have the normal attack and the raid. So open developer tools and hover over the normal attack. This is a div element with class clickable container mission type 3. And if I would inspect the one next to it, it's also a div element with clickable container mission type 5 class. So since the mission type 3 and 5 are different, I will use that class name to get hold onto that element. In the editor, I will write a driver find element by class name, and I will paste this class name in, and then I would instruct it to click on this element. I would copy this line and paste it below, and inside here I will just replace the class name. So inspecting the RAID, the div element has a class of clickable container mission type 4. So copy the mission type 4 and replace it here. Save the file. Call the method sleep. And below that I will write an if statement to check if the number of spares is provided. If it is provided, I want the browser to input the number provided from the CLI inside the specific input field for that unit. Back in the browser, inspect this input field. It has a class of unit input 0. Copy this class name. Inside the editor, find the element. By class name, paste the class name, and then call the method sendKeys and provide the number of spares as the argument. Copy these two lines and paste them below. This one will check for the number of horses, and if that number is provided, we will pass this number inside the sendKeys method, and in the browser I will just inspect and find a reference to this input field. This one has a class of input, unit input 5. I will copy that class name. Save the file. And before we continue, I would like to make a slight adjustment. I have to put this inside square brackets. Save the file. Back in the browser, once a attack type has been selected and the number of units, we have to get a reference to the time that it takes to get to the village that we want to attack. So inspect this string and right click on it, copy the XPath. Back in our browser, find this element, but name it as a variable called travel time. Driver find the element by XPath and paste the string and get the text from it. The travel time variable is currently a string, so I will convert it into seconds. I have added this small helper function to convert the string into seconds, so I can now call it. I will define a new variable called travel time in seconds, and I will call this method, paste the travel time as an argument, and multiply it by 2 to get the time to and back from the village that is under attack. Below that, I will call the sleep method to delay the execution of the script for 2 seconds. Back to the browser, I have to find a reference to the green continue button. Inspect this element. Copy the CSS selector. Back to the code editor, find this element. And click on it. Copy this line. Below, call the method sleep to delay the execution of the script for 2 seconds. Paste the previously copied line and back to the browser, click continue, and now inspect the send button. Copy the CSS selector and replace it here. One important thing to keep in mind is that when executing this script, it will always run at the same interval, which is the travel time in seconds plus all the seconds that are specified inside the sleep methods, which definitely seems like a pattern to the system administrators if they inspect the traffic, so they might think that this is a bot and they might ban the account. In order to avoid that or to minimize this possibility, I will introduce a random seconds variable, which will generate a random number between 1 and 5 and multiply it by 60. I will then pass down this variable to the sleep method alongside the travel time in seconds. Last but not least, I will call the recursive attack method and provide all the arguments to it. Save the file, and I will do now a quick recap of the things that I wrote in this script. First, I have imported the login file from the previous video. I have imported the random package, the newly installed inquire package. I defined a attack URL. I created the attack method, instructed the program to log in first inside the game, delayed the execution of the script, closed the cookie bar if the element is found on the page. I then say to the program to click on the button continue playing. In the terminal, I will see a question to select a village. There is currently one option to pick from. I will also see the option to select an attack type with 2 options. I will have the option to provide the number of spears and horses, and I will then call the recursive attack method. Inside of it, I will instruct the driver to go to the attack URL. I delay the execution of the function. Inside here, I'll check what attack type has been selected from the terminal, and depending on that, I interact with the UI accordingly. The same goes for the number of spears and the number of horses. I get the travel time, which is a string. I convert it to seconds, and I then click on the continue button. I click on the send button. I delay the execution of the script, and then I rerun the script again. And that's about it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Back to the terminal, execute the attack script. Let's select the attack village, the type of attack, number of spears, and number of horses. And as you can see, we have successfully started an attack. And I just want to show you one more thing, how easy it is to attack another player. So let's say I would like to attack this one. I would click on the send troops, copy the URL, and inside the code I would specify the new entry. What is the village name? I'll just call the village name 11 and paste the link. And inside here, for the choices for the village, I will just add another string of 11, the name of the village. And so I can start a new attack. I'm going to start the attack script. And now I'm going to select the other village, the village 11. I'm going to do a normal attack with 50 spears and 20 horses. Normal attack, 50 spears and 20 horses. And that's about it. Another player has been attacked. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully it was useful to you. Like and subscribe, don't be greedy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.